with the skin I'm living in. I'm coming up slow, and if you want to watch me, I will too, and I'll throw. If you believe that there is nothing more, you're far too cynical. Oh, what a life we're getting old till we die. Oh, I've been told I'm alive. Oh, I don't know why we're trying. Oh, what a life we're getting old till we die. Well, I can't decide why I'm still here. What do I know? Well, I've been talking to you, you're not listening. I can't be sure that there is nothing wrong when I'm not fitting in. If you believe in all the things you say, you're far too cynical. I've got nothing to give you, tick the box, it's non-applicable. Oh, what a life we're getting old till we die. Oh, I've been told I'm alive. Oh, I don't know why we're trying. Oh, what a life we're getting old till we die. Oh, I can't decide why I'm still here. Why I'm still here. Ah! What a life we're getting old till we die. Oh, I've been told I'm alive. Oh, I don't know why we're trying. Oh, what a life we're getting old till we die. Oh, I can't decide why I'm still here. Why I'm still here.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Shadow Drop podcast. It's me, the Psycho Fox, aka Chris Fox. Hope you're doing well on this December 13th. With me today, from the Portland Wrestlecast, from the Pacific Rim podcast, from Wrestling Observer Live on Saturdays, it's the effing king of recovery / the king of effing recovery, Jim Valley. How are you doing today, Jim?
I'm good, Chris. Thanks for having me, man. It's going to be fun.
It's an absolute pleasure to have you, Jim. And how is your Christmas time period going so far? Shall we just show off our Christmas jumpers right now?
Yeah, let's see your jumper.
Well, I know you're not much of a Sega guy, and obviously we can get into that later.
Sure.
But here's my Sonic sweater, and one of my Christmas memories is getting the Sega Mega Drive / Genesis Christmas '92, and everything changed on that day.
They're on the pocket. What's on the pocket? I can't see that.
Just got a little bit of Eggman action here, Dr. Robotnik.
Oh, good. That's what I thought. Okay.
The boss from Green Hill Act 1, so yeah, very special. Silent. I'm going to do the podcast with you, and we're going to debate Sonic, but save that passion for then. But Jim, I see a few Triforces there. What's going on here?
Yeah, I've got the Zelda Christmas jumper. It's actually a sweater. Is this still a jumper?
Jumpers over here, sweaters over there.
Okay, it's not sweatshirts. If it's knitted, it's a jumper.
Oh no! I was going to be like, no worries, Jim. Let me educate you on the English the English words that we use here. And I'm like,
English.
Can someone in the chat look up the difference between jumper and sweater? Thank you very much. I'll tell you what.
Are they? Is a jumper a sweatshirt or is it a knitted sweater? That's what I don't know.
My gosh. Well, all I can tell you is this one's really comfortable. You can get a lot of gaming Christmas jumpers these days, and some of them are that horrible, itchy material, but this one is super, super duper comfortable. So I'm very, very, very pleased with it.
We have a friend who works at Nintendo.
Here we go.
And it's for about 30 years. And my wife works with his wife. And so she was able to get him to procure this. So this came from the Nintendo employee store over just a couple of towns over in Redmond, Washington.
So this is the store that only employees can shop at?
Yeah, correct.
Now,
I don't know. Perhaps this sweater is available other places as well. I don't know.
That's just really... Well, I hope so. Because don't you think they've already got it pretty good, these Nintendo employees? I mean, do they need another
perk?
It's ridiculous. Absolutely. Well, gaming journalists, wrestling journalists, they get all the free, amazing press packs, and then the rest of us have to see it on Twitter and go,
Apparently, according to social media, get that big fat AEW money.
Have you angered anyone else on social media this week, Jim?
Oh, every day.
It's good to have a hobby.
Sometimes, well, not a hobby. Depends on the mood I'm in. If I'm in a good mood, I don't bother, but sometimes people catch me in a mood, and then it's on.
It doesn't matter. Anyone that you would feel bad about offending has already left Twitter anyway. So, you might as well let loose on there.
I don't worry about it. Then I got the hat. I mentioned I've got the matching hat.
And the matching hat.
For the jumper.
My gosh.
And, while we're doing the clothes, why don't I just go through the clothes?
Yeah, let's go through. How many wardrobe changes can we expect tonight, Jim?
I don't have time to change, but I can at least hold up the stuff I have.
Nice. What's up, Kimpler? What's up, Poodles? How you doing, everyone? Ginger's playing Shenmue, and you don't know he's gone down. That's awesome.
Oh, wow, Shenmue. That takes me back.
Did you play Shenmue 3, Jim?
I love the Dreamcast. The Dreamcast is a fun, quirky little system.
Now you're talking my language.
Here's a Mario jumper and/or sweater, which your wife has seen.
Yes.
No, I have two. I take it back. No, she hasn't seen this one. This one, my wife just got me again from the Nintendo store with the matching hat.
Is this how your wife leaves you for several days? She says, I'm going again, but here's another sweater and hat set.
Oh, I think she just did it for Christmas. Or my wife's Jewish, so they were Hanukkah gifts, actually.
Amazing. Well, so Hanukkah and Christmas gifts, both for you, Jim, every year.
Score.
I know. One of my oldest friends had that growing up. I was very jealous.
Here is, I believe, the jumper your wife saw. That's the...
I do have to say, just in case anyone panics, I am not currently married. We're not married at this point.
I thought you said you was your ex-wife. It's your girlfriend.
Yeah.
Sorry, I apologize.
It's okay. Thanks for making us official on the stream, Jim. I appreciate it.
I ruined everything. I'm sorry.
How can I be mad at you when you've got a matching Zelda sweater and hat on? It's impossible.
And then this makes me seem more obsessive than I am. The things you just saw, I recently just got.
This is regular. This kind of lifestyle is accepted in 2023, Jim, so it's fine.
My wife got me also this one for Christmas.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Christmas tree out of controllers.
Yeah, look at that.
I'll take it.
I went over to the Redmond store myself just the other day.
Oh, yeah?
And this was only $20, so I bought this. And this is a sweatshirt with this is a hoodie.
Jim, think of all the deprived viewers of my channel, and they're probably all deprived, and they're watching this, and they're not getting a single piece of Nintendo merch this Christmas.
So, but here's the coup de grace. So,
you're not going to stomp on my chest, are you?
No. In 2000, I guess it must have been 5. I thought it was 6, but maybe it was 5. We went to Nintendo World in New York City.
That just a big store, right?
Big store.
Yeah.
Not that big, actually, but it's a store. Nonetheless. But I have this sweatshirt from Nintendo World.
And these are all good enough to wear outside of the house as well. That's the best part about them.
I don't think I wear this. I think I wear this pretty much inside the house.
Nice.
But there you go. So that is, from what I recall, all of the Nintendo clothing.
I mean, I was impressed with just the one jumper, but it's quite the collection you got there. And I need to. I've worn this a couple of Christmases now on the stream. I think it's time to get a new one for the next one.
You take very good care of it.
Yeah. Well, you have to with a garment this fine. And
no energy drink spilled on it or Doritos.
No, but let's not jinx it now, please. I mean, I have clumsy tendencies. Big love for the jumper in the chat, Jim, and all the the jumpers plural. Wow, ridiculous. So,
do they have a favorite?
Does everyone have a top Jim Valley garment for today? Yeah, Jim, I tweeted you this once. Why no wrestlers use the Jim Valley driver is just beyond me.
Right, there's a Meltzer driver.
It's ridiculous.
Seems much more natural.
And I think the Jim Valley driver would be a lot less divisive as well.
I agree. What is this one? Probably the favorite.
Oh man, you've got one for every single day of the Christmas holiday. That's what I love.
I know, I got a lot, don't I? It's crazy.
Yeah, Mario and Luigi are the cutest, I think. So amazing. Thank you, Medicated Peach. Good stuff. Well, that's the make Chris and his whole chat jealous section out of the way. But yeah, but sticking on the Nintendo theme,
yeah.
Everybody, get ready, because this is what you'll see underneath the definition of style when you look up that word in the dictionary. Jim Valley and the Christmas hat, everybody. Fantastic stuff. And the mug, Sherman's favourite mug. Now, is Sherman in the room?
He is not.
Is Sherman near any water?
He'll come by, yeah. He drank out of the mug on Saturday because we share. Sherman's my cat.
Yeah. This is not a troublesome roommate we're talking about here.
We share everything, Sherman and I, and he's very spoiled. And Fumi and I, for the Pacific Rim podcast that we did.
Hello from Tokyo.
Yes, we were doing a podcast, and I had just a tumbler glass, and Sherman, it was halfway empty, and Sherman couldn't get his face down in it, so he knocked it over and spilled everything on the equipment during the podcast. So.
I mean, I don't think Sherman was getting enough attention at that time.
For sure.
I imagine I'm going to be cat sitting for my cousin this Christmas, so I'm going to have Benji over. So at least I only have to be jealous of your jumpers right now, Jim, and not all the cat action. But fingers crossed, everybody. Like I said, house sitting. It'll be a new house for Benji, but hopefully at one point he might let me pick him up and introduce him on camera. But no guarantees.
Maybe get a Nintendo mug for him to drink out.
I hear the cats love it. They love it the most. But sticking on Nintendo for a second, Jim, and sticking on the theme of me being incredibly jealous of your life, Nintendo World, you've been.
Yes. I have.
How many times?
Just once.
And,
just the one time.
Oh, I've got. I thought I was moving on to the pictures of Nintendo World, Jim, but I've actually got the pictures of your homemade arcade, and and the Simpsons pinball machine. Isn't that? Oh, there's like the Addams Family is always like in the top 5 or top 10 pinball machines.
One I think people really like, yeah.
But the Simpsons one is always there as well.
Is it? Okay, I don't know. There are 2. Are there 2 now? There's at least 2.
There's the newer batch that are very small compared to the old ones.
There's the 2000 one, Simpsons Pinball Party. And then I have, that one's the 1990. That's the Data East. That's the first one. Those
are the ones you want, though. They're a bit chunkier. I imagine they break down more because, like I told you before, we streamed.
They pulled it pretty well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've had it quite a long time.
Oh, nice. It's a shame we live in completely different countries because we need someone to fix our Star Trek: The Next Generation pinball machine.
I've got a guy. Want to fly him over? He'd probably do it.
I'll have to befriend Tony Khan first and.
Sure.
And get him to do it for me. Yeah.
He probably is a pinball guy. I'll bet you he does. Wouldn't surprise me.
Jacob Brown, I just need to explain the definition of the word shadow drop to you. Shadow drop is when, say you're watching the Game Awards and a trailer drops and they say, and by the way, it's out now. That's a shadow drop. And very fitting for the name of this podcast, considering they happen like once a year at this point. But with Jim Valley coming on this podcast, Jim, it's all going to turn around here. This is the start of us becoming one of the best known podcasts in history. I've got no doubt of that whatsoever. But yeah, Jim, the arcade is great. The vibe is really nice in there. Excellent lighting.
I used to have like 11 games, arcade games.
Mm-hmm.
And, I live here, I live in Kirkland, Washington, and Microsoft and even Nintendo, they're over in Redmond, which is just, a couple of miles away from here. So there's a lot of tech in the area. And there's a lot of tech millionaires.
Oh, yeah.
Who games. So there's a lot of games that you can buy in the area when they come up. But the thing is, I've probably been collecting and buying for, I guess 20 years now. But I don't pay a lot. So when I used to do it actively, I'd search, Facebook and search Craigslist and if you just every day you search and search and search, back then, I don't know what now, but you could find things that were cheap.
Oh, yeah.
Or not cheap, but that I would want to pay for.
Retro game prices have just exploded.
But yeah, I paid, I want to say $1,100 for that Simpsons.
Not bad.
Which, that wasn't bad even at the time. That was not bad. So, I think I got my money's worth.
It sounds like.
But every time, I've never paid over, $1,100 is probably about the most I paid for something. So that's not bad.
But, especially if you have to move house, sometimes you just have to...
I did, and that's where I had to get rid of
Get rid of some stuff, exactly.
Because we didn't have room in the storage unit. We've got the storage unit, and I had to sell my pole position machine, which I really regret. But
I would have kept WrestleFest over pole position though. So sometimes a tough choice for sure. But but after you've lugged when you've moved a pinball machine more than once, you start to lose love for it.
One machine that I probably lost money on, and that was a Mat Mania. Do you remember Mat Mania?
Mat Mania, another wrestling game.
It was like 1985.
The year I was born.
Coco Savage.
Oh, right, okay.
You're like Dynamite Tommy.
Sure.
And you...
legally different.
Golden Hulk. And there was two versions. There was Mat Mania, which was a one-player. There's Mania Challenge, which was a two-player. And this was a combination machine where you could play both games on one arcade machine.
Awesome.
And I shipped it, no surprise, from North Carolina, the wrestling capital probably of the United States, here. And, I paid more to ship it than I did for the machine.
Yeah.
It was like, $250 for the machine and probably $600 to ship it or something.
And now it's so easy to play these arcade games. So
yeah,
keep WrestleFest,
but it's not the same.
It definitely isn't the same.
You want to stand up. You want the original hardware. Playing it on a MAME or emulation is fun, but it's not exactly that arcade experience, and that's what I wanted.
Whenever I stream, I try and use original hardware unless I'm forced, not to. And then
the WrestleFest came from somebody's barn.
Barn? That sounds the best barn in the world.
No kidding, right?
Man, those animals probably weren't very happy with the day that arcade game was taken away from them. It's 4 players. I mean, come on.
It's awesome. It's great. You got the 4-player too.
Oh yeah. 2
players that's a rip-off machine.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Chintzy. 4-player or nothing on WrestleFest.
Same with Turtles, Simpsons. Oh yeah. Even though player 4, even though Donatello's buttons are above the stick on the side, and you're doing all of this.
I have the card, the JAMA for the Simpsons, so I can plug that in and play it on that machine.
Awesome. If the cabinet, if you've got a 4-player cabinet and you can, I mean, it still wouldn't be the same, but a cabinet with the sticks and the buttons, and if you're running MAME in there, which I've seen a few times. The beauty is there's so many ways to access these games now. Very spoiled.
The problem is though, I've got a CRT monitor, and those are.
I hate moving those as well, Jim. Can I say? And when I got here, we had to bring it upstairs because it was like, but what if I want to play a light gun game? I haven't played any light gun games since I've moved. But you never know when Time Crisis 2 will have to go on.
Whenever we move, I'm like, why didn't I get into stamp collecting?
Tell me about but no wrestling, drumming. I didn't even get started on the drums. Storage, noise. At least you can play WrestleFest quietly.
Smaller, lighter hobbies is what I need.
Yeah, take up the ukulele and stamp collecting.
Yeah,
and you're
interpretive dance, something. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, exactly right. But Jim, that arcade's looking nice, and one day, look at that.
Yeah, please come over by all means.
Sure, I'll pop over tomorrow morning.
London, Seattle, nonstop.
I'm lucky. I'm very, very fortunate. I've been to the States quite a few times, but never ever to Seattle. And now I'm sitting here admitting this to you, and I'm letting you down. And Frazier, he's not even there anymore. It doesn't matter. But here we go, Nintendo World. So yes. I think the question I have to start with is, what did you eat at the Toadstool Cafe?
Well, so you've got to make. Here's the tip. If you go there, go to Universal Studios, go to Nintendo World immediately.
Oh, yeah?
Outside there is a sign for the Toadstool Cafe, and it's got a QR code. You click on the QR code, make reservations for the Toadstool Cafe ASAP.
Yeah.
They go fast.
Wow. So there's a chance you could go to the Nintendo World and not be admitted entrance to Cadofio's Cafe, my word. Yeah,
exactly.
Because you have to book slots for the Nintendo World area as well.
We did the early admission because that's what you do today. You pay extra for things you used to get for free. What a great system we have.
I was thinking, I wish they included those plastic Mario Peach bands that you can get on for punching question mark blocks. It'd be lovely if they threw those in with the ticket price, but oh well. Did you buy one of those? Did they even do anything?
I didn't buy it. I decided that I didn't want to spend the $40. I mean, it's cool.
$40.
Cool to watch, but
man,
I decided not to. But I mean, other people want to do it. Good for you. I'm not judging.
Oh, for sure. It would be hard not to when I'm there going in, because
Right.
You want the full experience, but that's how they get you. Silent Return says, I'd love to pop a load of magic mushrooms and go to Nintendo World. Was that your experience, Jim?
I didn't do that anymore, no. But I'm sure a lot of people have. Speaking of mushrooms.
Oh, yes. Is that... Ooh, what?
This is the bowl. So if you order the mushroom soup.
Oh, yes. Now,
I knew it came in this bowl. I didn't know you got to keep it.
That's amazing.
So you order the soup, and it's fine, mushroom soup.
Yeah.
And they give you a box, a yellow box, a question mark box. And we're like, what's the question mark box for? And it's to put the bowl in when you take it home.
Wicked.
So that's kind of fun. So there's the bowl. So it's a very cute souvenir. It's adorable.
It definitely is. I've got a light like that, but it doesn't work anymore. But
I love it.
I love their commitment to the mushroom theme, because what if people don't like mushrooms and they go to eat at the Toad Cafe?
I guess you can. It comes with a tin cup inside that you can just pull it out, so the mushroom cup is clean itself.
Sweet.
So you don't even have to eat it if you don't want it.
Amazing. Well, I do want to eat everything that they've got on that menu, so I'd have to.
Menus. We had my wife had the chicken burger.
Yeah.
I think it's Ouija burger.
Yeah.
The Mario burger. It's very standard theme park fare.
Very standard for you, Jim. But when I head over to America, the kind of average fast food taste is, for me at least, light years ahead of what we have on offer here. Though Popeye's chicken has just made it over here, and I have to say, for once, the taste seems to have survived the journey across the pond. It's amazing, absolutely amazing.
It's because your government cares about you, and you don't get all of the additives and sugar and chemicals that we get here in the United States. They actually, care about your well-being.
Well, I mean, I suppose that's one positive we can say with the Conservative government, and the only one. But we'll leave politics. We'll come back for another politics chat with Chris and Jim.
Politics. I'm just talking about general health.
For sure.
Our food tastes amazing. There's no question. But that's because we're allowed to
sweet corn syrup.
Everything, yeah.
That's the best. Well,
Right.
you buy a packet of Oreos over here, it's one column. No. 4 columns in each pack in America. And all
Darn
the
right.
colours of the rainbow.
That's right.
We have M&M World in London, but over here they legally can't sell. Well, I mean, you can find it in import shops and stuff, but M&M World, and all they have is peanut and regular and crunchy. Where's pretzel? Where's peanut butter?
Right.
M&M World. Ridiculous.
Right. You could probably sell toxic waste M&Ms here. It'd be fine.
Well, yeah, people would eat them.
Yes.
They sure would. But yeah, Popeye's Chicken in England. I promise I don't work for them, though. I've been going on about them for about 2 weeks. I can't believe it. Check it out.
And I'm not talking politics. I'm just talking health.
I know. I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding. The only problem is I can't just say you're right. Our current government in England over here does care about us, Jim. I just had to put a little asterisk in there. That's
Well, maybe it's not necessarily care, just the people haven't greased the right palms yet.
That's right.
So-
I've always been quite proud of Cadbury's chocolate. I'm very, very proud of what we have to offer chocolate-wise.
Our chocolate here tastes terrible now.
I like peanut butter, so as long as there's peanut butter in there, I'm kind of good to go.
Oh, then you're fine.
Yeah, exactly right. Because
But I think it's like, what is it? Is it the coconut oil or something? Something's changed as far as they found a cheaper ingredient for
God.
chocolate. So it's
How ubiquitous is like Cadbury's over in America? Since the Kraft takeover, I thought it would kind of just be everywhere in the States. Or is that not
Right.
the case?
I don't think so. Given I'm immunocompromised, I don't go out grocery shopping very often just to be safe.
Uh-huh.
So my wife will go shopping like at 7 a.m. in the morning just so she's not exposed.
Sure.
And so I kind of, just because of my situation,
Uh-huh.
I like shopping. It's fun, but I kind of stay isolated. So I couldn't tell you about Cadbury, but
Sure.
Hershey's had a hold on the United States for a very long time.
Yeah, and how did they do it? The first time I tried a Hershey's Kisses, I think I nearly died.
They're not good anymore, I'll tell you that. I think they either my tastes have changed or they've changed.
No, Jim,
Maybe-
it's the children who are wrong.
That's right.
Genuinely over here, crisps / potato chips.
Right.
They've got blander. I'm not getting old. They've got more bland. And I'm pretty sure, again, it's because, they're trying to help, obesity over here. But, man, too many crisps taste like paper now, and I don't like it. You buy a packet of crisps that says flaming hot, and it isn't flaming hot. Ah.
Right. You know what? Wrestling was better when it was all side headlocks and arm bars.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
One day.
Everything was better when I was younger.
Everything's we'll come back round to headlocks and flavorful crisps, I'm sure of it.
Hang on 1 second. Get off my lawn! Sorry. The kids, damn.
It's the only way they'll learn. If you don't, if you just don't shout, how will they learn?
I don't know.
I'm very excited about the Donkey Kong expansion coming to Nintendo
I'm
World.
excited about that coaster. That could be very cool.
What were you saying? Now you were mentioning something special about the tracks on the Donkey Kong ride.
So, spoiler alert.
Uh-oh.
Kayfabe. In Donkey Kong Country, you go over jumps. There's that famous barrel jump, as a matter of fact.
Is it? Are you in minecarts? Is that a minecart ride?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So they have done a roller coaster where the track is on the side and the cart is connected here, but they've got a false track on the bottom so they can visualize and put in, the visual of a jump.
Yeah, it's so cool.
So that's going to be very cool if they do it right.
I just assumed it would be Zelda next, but Donkey Kong makes a lot of sense.
It's remarkable, all of the mythology that Nintendo has created, in just a few years.
Oh man.
There's, Mario and Luigi and Peach and Toad and
Yeah.
Zelda and Ganon and, everybody. It's
extensive.
they make movies for days. I mean, they practically have as many characters as Disney does. It's remarkable.
It's yeah, because like you said, comparatively, they've been around for such a shorter time than Disney. But that live action Zelda movie, what do you think about that?
We'll see.
We'll see. That's all we can say.
I mean, the Mario movie was super popular.
Yeah.
I watched it. It was fine.
I thought
But
it was.
It's not for me. It's for kids.
Well, they played it very safe, didn't they?
Very safe. And if, $1 billion, that means the kids liked it, so that means it worked.
And especially after the Bob Hoskins movie from the 90s, you have to play it safe. I don't know what happened.
I didn't even understand that movie. I was like, what?
I forgot. I saw it when I was so young. I forgot that it existed for quite a few years. And then one day when I remembered, I was like, no, I must be remembering that movie wrong. But no, it really did happen.
You got to understand, video games was essentially, started for public consciousness around Atari. They were before that, but, for a lot of people, that's the beginning. And so there's a whole generation that didn't get it. Back, the people that were making movies obviously weren't gamers, didn't grow up with games. So they just kind of, I think, did their own interpretation of
and it was the first video game adaptation, right?
I don't know.
I think so. Apart from game movies like The Wizard, I think it's the first adaptation. I'm probably wrong about now that I've said that on the internet. I'm probably wrong about that. So there weren't any adaptations to go by, but on the Blu-ray, which I did buy for the hour-long documentary. The documentary is fascinating about everything because they've got the set designer from Blade Runner working on that film. It's
really?
It's absolutely crazy.
I want Adventure the movie.
Oh yeah.
The square, just the dot. That's what I want. So.
Atari 2600.
Yeah.
Nice. The first computer I ever played on was a British computer called the BBC Micro, although it's got nothing to do with the... It might have something to do with the British Broadcasting Corporation, I don't know, but it was like an Atari, like a Spectrum. So I did play sort of pre-Nintendo Entertainment System games, thanks to my dad showing me video games when I was 4. I mean, Yeah,
we got a Pong. It must have been around Christmas when I was really, really, really little. And that's, I think, how I got into video games. And then we got an Atari and we went from there. Yeah.
Because I was going to ask you about Christmas gaming memories. Is that a big one for you? You've got very vivid memories of that?
Yeah, obviously. And, my brothers and sisters would play too, and my friends would play. And no, it was a big deal. And then we got an Atari 5200 after that. Mm-hmm. And even though it was a bomb, I liked the 5200 because, I was a dumb kid. What do I know?
Oh God, those days were great. Just no concept of. I remember I remember watching Batman and Robin, the second Joel Schumacher one, and that was my first realization that films could be bad. And Mortal Kombat Annihilation, the sequel, shortly after that as well. I was like, oh God, no, what's going on? But just a silent return in the chat says, I love the Bob Hoskins one. Actually prefer it to the new one. No, you don't, Silent. No one thinks that.
You're going to need to block that person. You're going to have to block.
I've called the authorities and they're on their way.
Yeah, even Bob Hoskins says no.
It says, him and John Leguizamo, they were drinking whiskey on set regularly to get through it. If you can track down that documentary, it could be on YouTube. It's well worth a watch.
Mario will always be Captain Llewellyn. We know this.
100%.
It's fact. Science.
And
Speaking of drunk Mario.
Oh man, and he's responsible for the most iconic dance routine of our time, the Mario, right?
True.
Including that little stumble he does at the end that was crystallized into my memory.
Stand back would be the most iconic dance routine, but what do I know?
When the Now That's What I Call people finally get around to that wrestling best of compilation, you're gonna have the Mario, you're gonna have Stand Back.
Sure. Probably Jim Ross dancing.
American Males.
Yes.
Right. And I'm gonna be picking.
They dance.
For me, like I said, Christmas 1990. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Christmas 92. Sega Mega Drive, Sonic 1, the holy trinity of games as well with it, Jim. Sonic 1, Sonic 2, and Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. Wow.
Nice.
I never needed to buy any more games after that, really, but I did. Yeah, exactly right. But it was very, very much, especially when you're younger, Sega versus Nintendo at the time. And it felt very... the console war doesn't... I mean, obviously I'm a bit older now, so I don't know what they're talking about on the playgrounds, but, over here, the Sega Master System did a lot better than it did in America. But even in America, the Super Nintendo and the Genesis, it was neck and neck for a while, no? Like Raw and Nitro?
Yeah, that's what I recall. I think for a time, and this is just off the top of my head, so I could be very, very wrong. But yeah, I think it was very close for a while. Sega might have even been briefly ahead, as I recall.
Even Sega had the little Nitro, their little Nitro moment of being ahead. Probably thought it would last forever.
You know, I didn't think it would last forever, but I thought at least they'd always be in the game. You know?
Absolutely crazy. And I'm a former employee of Sega as well. I used to work in QA. And so growing up as a Sonic obsessive fan and getting to work on a few modern Sonic games was like a dream come true. But it just the thinking about how different it would have been like 10 years previous, like when the Dreamcast. I absolutely loved the Dreamcast. Any console that's an underdog, like even the GameCube to some extent, Neo Geo, Pocket Color, I've always go for them before the PlayStations of the world. But
I didn't PlayStation. I wasn't a PlayStation guy.
Have you ever had a PlayStation in your life, Jim?
I have a PlayStation 4.
That's all you need.
But I was always a Nintendo guy.
Yeah.
I was never really a Sony guy. I waited for the Nintendo 64, and then when they had the better wrestling games, I was like, what do I need to get? You know, I'm not a Grand Theft Auto guy. I mean, they're cool games. I'm not saying they're bad. It's just, it wasn't really for me. I played like Mortal Kombat and Mortal Kombat 2. And then I kind of had my fill of the violent stuff. I was kind of like,
sure,
I was good. And so I never really needed a lot of the more adult themes, more grown-up themes or stuff of those type of games. And that's not a knock on those games. Just
for sure.
I was very happy with Super Mario World and everything Nintendo put out. And same thing with Sega. You know, Sonic was a very fast game.
Oh yeah.
And I preferred being able to explore and do stuff like that as opposed to rushing through things in the Sonic that was more built for speed. And they're cool games. It was just, didn't really fit me. Sure.
Well, speaking of the PS4 that we kind of mentioned, then the more modern consoles, what are some of your gaming highlights for this year? I know you predominantly are on the Switch. So what have you touched on this year?
Well, I'll tell you what I would have loved. 1 second. Sorry about that.
No worries.
I would have loved to have played the Spider-Man game. That looks amazing. I had the one on PS4.
Oh, yeah.
It's great. So I'm sure Spider-Man 2 is amazing.
Oh, yeah. I got the Miles Morales sort of half sequel game on the launch of the PS5. And, you know, it's you played the first game, you know what it's about. So much fun traversing through the city in those games. With an open world game, if you make transport that fun, I think you've basically won.
I like a lot of those action adventure games. So I like the Spider-Man game. I love the Arkham series. Loved those games. So
yes, dude.
This year, I enjoyed Tears of the Kingdom. Obviously.
Yeah.
That was a big highlight. What do I have? Let's see. Oh, I love the return. Metroid Remastered.
Oh my gosh! It's been such a ridiculous year for releases that I just completely forgot about that. Yeah, Metroid Prime Remastered. What a remaster as well!
Love that game. That is
incredible.
I mean, for the atmosphere on a game, you're not going to find anything much better. So I loved having that just handheld.
Yes.
On my Switch. That was great.
It's when you see games like Metroid Prime Remastered looking as amazing as they do, and you think, wow, the Switch came out, nearly 6 years?
7 years ago.
And some games kind of struggle a little bit. Like I mentioned, apparently Arkham Knight is pretty bad on the Switch. But when you see people,
Arkham Knight's pretty bad. So I want to play a tank. I want to be Batman.
Like I said to you, man, in the chat the other day, it took me a long time to accept the Batmobile, and a long time, and then I eventually, had my fun with that game. But I was just confused. I think obviously they have to put the Batmobile in there if you're making a Batman game, but they already had, like I said, the traversal was so enjoyable flying around as Batman,
Yeah, that's fun. I didn't want to drive around and be a tank the whole. I felt like it was like 50%, 60% tank.
Yes. And it moved really strangely, and you're thinking, this is not really Batmobile, but it's very video gamey, so I get it.
I get that they need to do something new, but it's like, no, I just want to be Batman.
Oh, their game on the PlayStation VR, the first VR headset, Arkham, I think it's just called Arkham VR, but it's a short 45-minute experience, but it's one of my favorite VR experiences, and it's done by the Rocksteady team, and it's pretty great. I don't know if you've
yeah, man, but I couldn't tell if those were like actual games or more of like a tech demo.
Kind of halfway in between. It depends which one you're doing, but there's enough in the Rocksteady Arkham VR that I've recommended it to everyone. They do some great stuff with the tech. But yeah, well, let's get on to one of the games this year that unfortunately disappointed me, Jim. I don't know about you, and that's Fight Forever, because I wanted to be sitting here saying this was my game of the year, but I'm not. That is obviously RoboCop. The glory goes to RoboCop there on the PS5. If you get a chance to play that ever, Jim, it's old school, it's arcadey, it's amazing.
Okay, I'll have to check that out.
The way the heads explode, Jim. Not gratuitous.
I used to follow video games quite a bit. I even went to, with the closing of E3.
Oh, terrible news.
I went to E3 in 2005.
Nice.
One time. And it wasn't that exciting. There was like, 2006 was when the Wii was announced and the next generation. So it was sort of the end of everything.
Yeah, right before the big announcement.
Too much. But I still got to go. Yeah. So that was cool. They announced the Game Boy Mini. Remember the micro?
I was talking about that yesterday. It really is too small.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
So there's, I don't even see that. Can you see that? There's me and Iwata.
Oh my gosh, dude. What an honor that must have been for him to have got a picture with Jim Valley.
He didn't even know who I was, just another guy. And then here I am with Miyamoto.
Oh my gosh, dude.
So there we go.
What was your role at E3 that year?
I was the reporter.
Nintendo liaison, of course. Oh, so you've covered gaming as well in the past as well.
Being in Seattle, friends at Nintendo, so they introduced me to him, so that was cool.
We're getting comments like, "Man, Jim is far too cool" in the chat. So
you're too kind.
And I can vouch for these people. I've cultivated a great community here, Jim, and I've no reason to think they would just make up lies, but there is always a chance.
Well, I appreciate them either way.
But Fight Forever, you had it on the Switch. I've got it on the PS5. I think number one, crossplay. If you could fight your friends on the Switch and connect with an Xbox user, a PlayStation, or a PC guy, I think it would have not saved the game, but certainly helped it a lot, because a few months after release, you go online and you can't find anyone. Not that online is the be all and end all, but I really think that would have helped.
So it took a long time to develop all these. And I think that was a negative. People were waiting a long time, or felt like they were. And it's like, you had Kenny Omega allegedly, overseeing this.
Fixing bugs, coming in at the weekend.
As, let's just call him project manager.
Yeah.
Wrestling liaison, something.
Wrestling liaison.
And Kenny, obviously you've got, he's a big video game guy. And then you've got Ukes, who has done a lot of video games in the past, a lot of wrestling video games.
Yeah.
In the past. A lot of people talk about the glory days and mentioned Ukes. So you've got a long time developing. You've got a wrestler who's passionate about video games overseeing it. And you've got a company that has produced in the past some of the most beloved legendary wrestling games of all time.
And the director of No Mercy as well.
And what the hell happened? Why is it such a bare bones experience?
It's when I finally played Stadium Stampede mode, which was a couple of months maybe after it was released, I was shocked to find that they were basically trying to recreate Fortnite, because you're splitting all the attention. You've got the core game here, but they've got to work on the mini games. They've got to work on Stadium Stampede mode. All these modes, you've got to get that core perfect before you start messing around with the other bits.
The mini games are cute.
They are
but
cute.
I feel like that's a waste of time and resources.
Mm-hmm.
When people would rather have, blood and guts, or they'd rather have a cage match, or more a deeper roster, or more a better creator wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you produce any product, you've got to look at how your customers use and see that product.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that maybe some people in charge, perhaps, my impression, just playing the games, like they thought wrestling games were boring, and that's why they added mini games. And I just feel like they lost the script.
Mm-hmm.
They lost their way. And I mean, if the plan is to do updates, my advice would be update Create a Wrestler and just put that in a patch to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you could still do some goodwill there. And if the strategy is you've got this core game and they're going to do updates every so often, I would throw in some free stuff to front base to make them feel better is what I would do.
Because the God of War developers just dropping a whole load of free DLC for God of War Ragnarok to say thank you to the community. And like you say, I think Fight Forever, AEW Games and Ukes need to do something to win back that goodwill. But unfortunately, I think it's too late. And now I don't know what could happen with a sequel if there was one, because people will go, tried it, didn't like it.
Are they just, I got the impression they're just going to do DLC like forever or something.
Well, instead of, they are patching it. They have assured they will compete, they will continue to build on the Creation Suite and things like that. But I'm seeing things like Season 2, Season Pass dropping with, 2 new wrestlers. And when I saw there was going to be 2 new modes, I think Beat the Elite has dropped today or something like that. And you go on X. I can't believe I just called it X. What a fail. I love that everyone's just quietly, without speaking, decided to carry on calling it Twitter. I think that's the best thing I get.
It's such a generic name.
It's ridiculous.
It sounds like, I'm on X. It sounds like you're on drugs.
It's like can I have some? Exactly. It's ridiculous.
Exactly.
But 2 new modes, and all the comments were like, fix the game, fix the core game, And I think the Steam player base just dropped off immediately. Like straight away.
Cool. I don't know if they will, because there's probably money in it, but scan Will Ospreay, and here's a gift to everybody. Here's Will Ospreay for free.
For sure.
It would
be great.
But you can't. Maybe Will Ospreay. They see money in that. People would download that. So, give somebody good that you don't. Give something for free is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Something good. Give, who else is not in the game? Is Takeshita? How about Takeshita?
Exactly. Well, the roster, unfortunately, with wrestling games, and they're not the only one, roster was outdated. The staging was outdated on launch.
Yeah. That's a given. That's a given.
Exactly.
A wrestler would go a long way. A few more modes. Obviously, I don't know. I have no idea what happened.
Good point from Kimpler. Give us goddamn Evil Uno already. God knows he's done enough marketing for that game, and he's still not in it. That's very surprising. But
true.
I think it's like I said. I think it's such a shame, because I thought that's a shoe-in for my game of the year, because my last game of the year last year was Turtles Shredder's Revenge. I'm still very old school at heart. And if they'd nailed the core game and it was fun and the word of mouth would have spread, and it just hasn't happened. And it's,
sometimes I like it because I'll just, if I'm on a plane,
I think it's fun.
Pick it up and play for a few minutes.
Yeah.
But it's not like a deep core experience.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to have New Japan, when New Japan World that was on the PS4. I'd love to have some Fire Pro on the Switch.
Oh yeah, there's not one single Fire Pro game. My first Fire Pro experience was on the first Game Boy Advance game, and I thought it was absolutely incredible. But I hadn't played it for a while, and when you go back to Fire Pro and you haven't played it in a long time, and you have to hold down that breathing button, it's tough.
It's an adjustment. Yeah.
It's a full-time job to be good at a Fire Pro game, I think.
It's a full-time job to be good at games anymore.
That's true. Yeah, we've had a new Street Fighter and a new Mortal Kombat this year. They're both. I've got to go with SF6, but I started doing some online games, and then too many other things come out, and you think you want to go back into it. Maybe I'll match with Kenny Omega online, but no way, not at my current rank, because I've got too much else to do.
I suck now. I've got Nintendo Online, which I love. I hate how everything these days is a subscription model. But I love Nintendo Online. I think it's a great value for the money.
Well, their pricing model certainly is very attractive. But unfortunately, Nintendo and the internet still don't seem to be going as hand in hand as it should. If you try and play like a Super Nintendo game and you're overseas, just because of the way their emulation and their netcode is set up, it can be very jerky and the sound will start glitching. But I love having all the console libraries on there ready to go. I was a big Virtual Console fan. So
yeah, I love it. So when I was at Nintendo last week, I finally bought the Super Nintendo controller.
Yeah.
And I bought the regular Switch controller, which is great.
Oh yeah.
I've been playing a lot of Super Mario World. Just a lot of stuff. It's been fun. I've been using the N64 controller.
Yes.
Been playing. What did they release this week? Gemini Force.
Oh, 1080 snowboarding as well, which is great.
Oh, that too. I haven't got to that one yet, but I will. And just
Harvest Moon as well, I think.
I've been playing GoldenEye, which has been fun. And all kinds of stuff. I really like that online experience.
Yeah.
It's been great.
For sure. And like I said, they're cheapest by like a country mile at the moment. So they've definitely got that one aspect right. So do you have a game? Would you say you have a game of the year?
Game of the year? Oh man!
We spoke about this before we went live.
This year.
Game of the year questions, top 5 questions. I love talking about them, but they make my brain explode every single time.
Try the Metroid Remastered.
Oh, that's a great choice, though.
Or Tears of the Kingdom, obviously. Played that a lot.
And like you were talking about with Fumi and the Oscar season, because Metroid Prime was March, I just completely forgot about it. And it was nowhere at the Game Awards. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's a game from 2005 or something. I think it was the Game of the Year back then.
They just need a remasters category for Game Awards, I think.
But it's funny because, back then, everybody was on Sony. Sony was the thing. And I loved the GameCube. As far as I loved Metroid, I loved all the Marios. Mario Sunshine was fun.
Beautiful Joe, Resident Evil 4 for exclusively for a long time.
That was great. The Zelda, the cel-shaded Zelda.
Wind Waker.
Thank you, Wind Waker. Still a gorgeous game.
Yeah.
And
Eternal Darkness, thank you, Silent.
Yeah, I mean, and you look back now to that time period, maybe I'm wrong, but it feels to me like more people are nostalgic for GameCube than they are for any other system of that time.
It was not appreciated in its time, Jim, like the Dreamcast. Ahead of its time, too courageous, too much of a trailblazer. Too much of a handle on the back of the GameCube. People were just confused at that handle. They didn't understand at the time. They didn't want to understand.
Right. The Dreamcast we played the fishing game, and we had the fish. It's gone. We had the fishing game. We played. My wife liked to play. There was a Disneyland racing game.
Oh yeah.
We played that.
It's Mickey Speedway or something like that.
And then Crazy Taxi. So much Crazy Taxi.
There's a new Crazy Taxi coming, Jim. There was a Sega sizzle reel about a minute and a half, and they're doing a new Crazy Taxi, Streets of Rage, Golden Axe, Jet set radio / jet grind radio and Shinobi.
That's a quirky game, Jet Set Radio.
Oh yeah, and there are like a few seconds of footage, but the new Crazy Taxi. I mean, I'll try not to get too excited, but it's going to happen.
Let's go make some crazy money.
Maybe the Offspring's record sales are dipping a little bit. Get on a new Crazy Taxi, Sega, immediately, please.
Why not?
When I first saw Crazy Taxi in the arcade, and the Offspring were my favourite band at the time. I had to lean. I was like, "Is that the Offspring coming out of a game made by?" Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. But do you want to? So we've gone an hour, Jim. Would you like to talk more gaming, or would you like to switch to wrestling for a little bit?
What do you want to do?
Oh man. Well, like I said, RoboCop.
I got a couple more things here.
Okay, great.
Someone gave me this for Christmas. This is a Zelda sword.
Move it slightly to your right, Jim.
No, I guess
there we go. There we go. Oh yes.
Zelda sword. I've never even taken it out of the package. Someone gave it to me for Christmas. I don't know what to do with it, but I have a sword.
I just paid attention to what I was doing. I was my mouth was agape.
I've never, I guess it's blue. I don't even know. I've never.
That is first class. And talk about the dream home defense weapon, the Master Sword.
Right. A plastic sword. And then my wife also got this from Nintendo.
I think you're the hero of time. Oh.
Smashing mug.
Wonderful.
I forgot. I've got one more Zelda mug downstairs, but oh well. I've got two. I was trying to gather all this stuff for the podcast. As I was gathering, I didn't realize I had so much stuff. And now I look around and I go, I really have a problem.
No, it's fine. Listen, what else are you going to do when your wife's away other than go online and show off your mugs?
She bought all this stuff. I didn't buy it. I didn't even know.
Then it's totally fine.
But it's funny how this is like they give it the stoneware look.
Yeah, it's nice, man.
It kind of fits the theme and the motif of the game.
A Hyrule tankard for sure.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Have some mead.
Yeah, they played it safe with the Mario movie. There's so much more that could go wrong with a live action Zelda because there'll be an actor playing Link talking.
Right. Well, and also, he's not going to rescue Princess Peach.
Exactly. Right.
Princess Zelda. He'll have to rescue, I don't know what, and they'll do together.
Yes.
Because that's just the way modern movies would be today, and that's fun. But I'm just saying they're going to have to find another MacGuffin to chase.
Do you think they'll try a clever way of having Link not speak? Do you think that's possible? I don't think any Hollywood executive would be able to understand the protagonist of a movie never speaking. But maybe, I don't know.
Well, they kept Mario's voice so true to the original.
Chris Pratt, I hear, is already doing makeup tests for Link as we speak.
He probably is just going to be Link because he's in every freaking movie. So,
how
did that?
I thought he was. We did a trailer reaction with the Chris Pratt reveal on this channel, but I found the movie to be, perfectly fine, especially in terms of his voice. I wasn't going, oh God, I can't believe it. And I think we've spoken on the stream before. Maybe full Mario for an hour and a half may have become too much if he's full Charles Martinet. No disrespect to Charles Martinet, of course. But he's not even doing a Garfield voice in the Garfield trailer, though. It's ridiculous.
I don't know what he's doing. What I have here, let me do this for you. Hang on. I'm going to send you something on Twitter. I don't think I sent you before.
Okay, sweet.
There we go. There's when I interviewed Charles Martinet, this little 90-second feature on Charles.
Oh, great. Nice one, man.
That's from 2005, I think, but at E3.
Nice, dude. I will check that out after the podcast. Yeah, really, really sad to see Charles go because Mario Wonder is a fantastic. Have you got Mario Wonder, Jim?
No, here's what I do when it's Christmas time.
Christmas.
I don't buy anything.
Mm-hmm. Wise.
So usually I'm disappointed people don't get it. Then I got to go buy it afterwards. But I give them the opportunity. And that's what's important.
Just make sure you just send the link to this podcast to your wife.
I haven't bought RPG. There's a couple of things I haven't bought, so I'm just waiting.
Yeah, very
that was
sensible.
The frustrating part of going to Redmond at Nintendo because they were all there.
I bet. Tough, but you passed. You did it, Jim.
And well, they didn't have anything else that I really wanted. So it was very frustrating. It was very hard because it was like, just want those games now.
12 days to go, Jim. You can do it. I believe in you.
It looks great. It looks great.
It's fantastic. But there are a couple of times when you can tell it's a new voice actor and not Charles anymore. So it's a little bit sad, but...
Well, Charles has been doing it a long time, and he's getting older.
Since 96.
I know the voice of Princess Peach.
Oh, yeah?
And Toad, yeah.
From the game?
Yes, I used to work with her.
Wonderful stuff. Amazing.
Very nice. Lovely woman. Sam Kelly. She's super nice.
Well, when you hear someone's lovely, I mean, and they're in the position to play Princess Peach, that's all I need to know. That's wonderful. Wonderful to hear.
Everybody loves Sam Kelly. She's very nice.
Great stuff. And wait till she hears that she got a shout out on this podcast.
I'm sure. Yes. Yes.
Oh, my word.
I wonder if she'd do your podcast. I don't know.
Sorry, Jim, say that again.
I don't know if she would do your podcast. I don't know what she does these days. I don't know how. I know she does a lot of Comic Cons and stuff.
Wow.
I don't.
Well,
I
Jim,
don't know how she's really raking in that Nintendo money or what.
Well, you've already gone above and beyond by coming on this podcast yourself, Jim. But if you can get us the voice of Princess Peach one day,
I was just thinking out loud.
Well,
I imagine with Nintendo,
yeah,
she's probably got to jump through a lot of hoops.
Like WWE superstars.
Yeah, same idea.
Very well. What a segue, Jim, to talk about a little bit of wrestling before I let you go.
Got that. There's a pillow someone got me.
Oh, sweet, man.
Jumpman pillow.
I absolutely love it. Fantastic.
And then last thing, I think I got the Mario Game & Watch.
I have the Mario one, but not the Zelda one.
Yeah, I like Zelda, but I don't know if I want to play the original again. I don't know, maybe.
Both the original and Zelda 1 and Zelda 2 are both really difficult as well.
Yeah.
And
I went back to play those, and I was like, I was like, what? This is impossible.
You don't want to end up snapping such a beautiful little Game & Watch in half like that.
Yeah.
But everyone, a lot of comments like, no, Jim, you don't have a problem. I have a problem because I don't have all that stuff. Sounds like you're living your life correctly, so congratulations to you.
Oh, there we go. Well, good, I'm glad.
And speaking of living your life, you've been covering wrestling for a long time, so we're just going to pick your brains for a short time.
Sure.
Okay, that's not Okada. That's Okada.
There we go.
The N64 kid, we don't need to know whether he's going to AEW or WWE, but Okada, is he going to leave New Japan Pro Wrestling?
Anything is possible today.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So, whatever I say now, if the exact opposite happens, understand that anything is, there's money, there's spite, there's all kinds of things. But I would be very, very surprised if he left.
Mm-hmm.
Dude makes good money. His wife is very famous and entrenched. Why? He's a big star in Japan. Will he be as big a star in the United States at this stage of his life and his career?
I'm also picturing his TNA run with the Green Hornet costume on right now.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I mean, there are cultural differences.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about racism. There are just things that happen. Jumper. I didn't know what the jumper.
KFC for Christmas dinner.
That get lost in translation.
Yeah.
That honest, good people don't understand.
Sure.
They're trying. They're making the effort.
Yeah.
Anyway, can he break through that? Is he willing to?
Mm-hmm.
I think he's got a good life in Japan.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
Has he done everything in New Japan though? Has he done already everything over there?
Well, I mean, just become Tanahashi.
That's
I mean,
true.
he's still got many more years of. He could hold the title tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
You never know.
Is Sonata still champion?
Yeah,
Oh God.
but it feels like Naito's champion to me. But yeah,
Well, he always is the champion in my heart, for sure.
well, I mean, you got to build up somebody to lose at Wrestle Kingdom.
I know.
So that's what they've done. So, I think it'll be Naito, and he's off to the races. And he should.
The thing is, Nakamura did 2 go-to-sleeps, and everyone sort of said, oh, that doesn't mean anything. It can't. And then they dropped it themselves. Bam, CM Punk's back. Now, he did promise chaos. And it's the same wrestler we're talking about here, Nakamura. Surely it's got to happen. I want to see Okada debuting on SmackDown and then immediately on Velocity for the next 2 years.
I mean, it could happen. He could be the new 24/7 champion. Our truth. Anything could happen. Obviously, WWE. Let's play the other side now. WWE is on an app, Abema, which is a streaming app like Netflix or something. Very popular app. So you can watch SmackDown and Raw on Abema.
In Japan, is this?
Yes.
And how many people are watching WWE in Japan?
I don't know. I just know the app is popular. It's been fairly recent, so I have to find out if there's any way to get numbers on it, what it does. But my point is that WWE has never been more accessible to a Japanese audience.
Absolutely.
So you've got Kyrie, you've got Io Sky, you've got Japanese women, you've got Nakamura, but
Asuka.
He's on his downside. Asuka was a star, but not like a major Japanese star. She's like an independent kind of star, but she's a big star. Give her nothing but credit for everything she's done. Love Asuka. They do need maybe somebody to get people to watch or check out or make aware of WWE on Abema. Is Okada that guy? Quite possibly.
And Triple H as well is going to use Okada better, one would assume, than Vince's Nakamura time over the last 5 years.
WWE has tried to get into Japan. Tried to buy Stardom. It tried to buy Noah. And each time, they get, Japan,
well, Microsoft tried to buy Nintendo and were laughed out of the room because Japanese companies are very, they're not going to be selling to a Western company anytime soon if they can help it, right?
Right. They circled the wagons.
Yeah.
And somebody bought Noah. And they, and same thing, Bushiroad bought Stardom. So there has been pushback on WWE getting into Japan. And I think Japan, how well is your independence scene doing these days?
I don't want to talk about it, Jim.
How did WWE benefit?
You said you weren't going to bring that up, Jim. Yeah, it's a real shame.
Japan is smart to understand that it's competition, and we'll see what happens. But
I just think wrestlers look at Will Ospreay. It seems to me like he's, in his mind, he's done everything he can accomplish in New Japan. So it's time for something new, but with AEW, he gets that excellent opportunity to move back and forth. And I think maybe after AEW for a few years, then will not finish up his career, but you know what I mean, head to WWE once his body, because he's required to, not required, but he'll do less there in his matches. So I just wonder if Okada is thinking, is it time for something new? Is it time for a change?
Right. Well, I mean, Nakamura, his body is not in the same condition, obviously. The other thing, the Japanese economy is not great. The yen is weak. And I talked about this months ago. And I said, this is going to be a story. And it has been. And everybody on X, even on Reddit, got mad at me because I said people should thank Tony Khan. if you're a fan of New Japan, because you're going to get at least some Will Ospreay versus.
I'm just picturing certain people looking at it on their phone and just, what? Jim's Valley's telling me who to thank again, everyone.
I'm just saying, if you're a fan of New Japan,
for sure,
Will Ospreay adds that depth and brings that attention to New Japan it otherwise wouldn't have. And if Will Ospreay would have signed to somebody else, he's not going to have that same.
It's the best place for him to be. And I give thanks to Tony Khan before every hot meal, so I had no problem with it.
Well, I do, because he pays me.
Of course.
Look, if someone knows how I could do that, let me know.
Oh, me too.
I'll sell out in a second.
Just buy the rights to a song that may or may not be used in wrestling in a few years' time, and sit on those rights.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
It's a good idea. Let's see here. What song? Is there a song for like Sundays? Anything? I don't know.
Oh my God, I could think of a song with Monday in the title, but that's it.
It's Manic Monday, I guess.
And I Don't Like Mondays by the Boomtown Rats. That's it, though.
Yeah. Up All Night. I like that song by the Boomtown Rats.
Nice. I didn't know they had any other song apart from I Don't Like Mondays, so thank you for educating me on that tonight, Jim.
I was pulling out a cool reference. Anyway, anything could happen. There's, like I said, there's the economy, there's other things, but I think by and large, Okada's got a family.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's gonna stay.
It will be. I obviously want him to do what he wants. I think it makes most sense for him to stay in New Japan, because then you've got that AEW crossover. But if he did appear in WWE, the surprise would be amazing.
WWE is getting so crowded right now.
Sure, absolutely.
I mean, look, I don't know who's, I'm not there. But you can't tell me that there wasn't if indeed CM Punk faces Seth Rollins for the title
at
WrestleMania, you can't tell me that there wasn't somebody else on the roster who thought or expected to have that slot.
100%.
I don't know who that is, but you can't tell. When CM Punk comes in, that means everybody else gets moved down,
including Cody.
Maybe. Cody's a pretty smart guy.
Yeah.
If I were to, I think I'd put my money on Cody. But Dave mentioned the rights fees.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know where Raw is going to end up, and Fox apparently liked CM Punk, the Fox network. So.
Well, they put him on the. Was that show called Backstage? I don't remember now.
Look, I like CM Punk, but I think he's not like a John Cena. He's not a Roman. He's not at that level.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like his fans think he's much bigger than he is, and
for sure.
All you need is somebody in life to advocate for you, and obviously, if people at Fox really like CM Punk, then more power to him.
For sure. Yeah, after everything that happened, and I was a big fan. The Punk's why I started watching wrestling again regularly in 2011, 2012 era.
Yeah.
But after everything, my enthusiasm is kind of low. So hopefully he does a few exciting programs, but. I don't know. He kind of has to win me back, to be honest. It's separating the art from the artist these days. Sometimes it's easy to do, but I can't. Especially when he made that comment, I said, "Yes, Phil, you can't punch people in the face at your work. You can't do that." Ha 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 ha. Yes, you can't do that, Mr. Punk.
Look, I have a problem with people who intentionally hurt the business.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a big Shawn Michaels guy. I mean, I'm happy what he's done with NXT. Good for him. It's a feather in his cap and his career and everything to his credit. But, back in his prime, he hurt that WrestleMania with his unprofessionalism.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of unprofessionalism like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like people. Sometimes you got to advocate for yourself. that's one thing. But when your actions intentionally hurt the wrestling business, then I have a problem. So that's kind of my thing with Punk and Feel.
That's how you sum it up, I think. Perfectly done, because there's so much goodwill for AEW when they began, and I was right there. I was like,
Yeah,
let's go.
sure.
And I was a bit emotional when he came back, but the way he'd sort of treated that company, who knows? Did he want to get fired at the end? We don't know. We weren't there. We don't know. But
He got so much. He was spoiled there.
And just kind of left everything in a big mess. And well, see ya.
Yeah, yeah.
As you know, I was in the car park at Raw 2 months ago, and now you know why. See ya.
Much once more. And I don't know. We'll see what happens. I asked this a couple of weeks ago. With an NDA, is CM Punk as interesting?
No.
Because Punk needs this enemy, WWE.
Exactly.
And if he can't talk about the man holding him down, then...
And the crowd's not that way inclined either. It's not the crowd versus the company anymore, really, is it? At all. You know, there's no hijacking CM Punk style chants like there was 5 years ago or whatever.
Well, you talked about the beginning of AEW. I mean, back then, Vince was still in charge, and he was insane. And shows would start and stop, and things would just drop and be forgotten, and it was very hard to follow. So there was a lot of people who just felt disenfranchised. And so AEW came along, long-term storylines, things to completion, good matches. Everyone enjoyed it for a period of time. And then Vince is gone. Triple H is not insane. And
less insane.
Well, whatever.
He's a pro wrestler.
He is a pro wrestler.
God.
But, so WWE, when you are a heritage product and being first is such a big advantage. And now the Triple H has, shorn everything up and done better work. And it's a more logical product. AEW is, in a harder spot now. And
how much, I really think, not a huge difference, but if that game had that groundswell of support, that word of mouth, just little things like that would help them right now when they need it. Not that they're going out of business tomorrow, but,
Whether AEW meant to be or has said it, I don't know. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But their image was, they were the fans. And so when you put out a video game, you want a video game that the fans wanted. So Fight Forever is fine, but no one was asking for mini games and all these things. It's not
no one was asking for Fortnite inside their wrestling game.
Not the product the fans wanted. So when you getting back to that, you expect Kenny Omega to put out a product that the fans and video gamers wanted. And the game just treads old ground. And
for me, I did want essentially No Mercy all over again.
Yeah, I mean, you have No Mercy, but I think instead of having No Mercy, it might have been better to have Virtual Pro Wrestling 2.
Oh, I see. Deep cuts. That's where we're going, are we?
A few more things, I guess. That's what I'm saying. So.
For sure.
I don't know.
So, I mean, where do you think we're going to be at WrestleMania?
Pardon me?
Where do you think we're going to be at WrestleMania? What are we going to be seeing, main event wise? Any predictions, Jim? Or
Cody finishes the story
on night 1 and CM Punk on night 2?
No, I think Rhea Ripley. I think the women, in some form, will main event one night.
Yeah, well, I think that makes a lot more sense, and she definitely deserves it. Right. I would say.
So maybe Rhea and Becky. I could see that. Becky right now is fighting Nia Jax, a giant. So Becky vanquishes Nia Jax to show that she can vanquish a giant like Rhea Ripley. I mean, and what a great year Rhea Ripley's had. She's over and never has to wrestle.
Oh my gosh, the dream.
Yeah, you know, PWI rated her #1 wrestler. I'm like, if it's kayfabe, I mean, is she the #1 female wrestler? Yes. But
yeah,
if it's kayfabe, she is not, because she's never wrestling.
For sure.
That's not a knock on her.
No, I mean, like MJF got those complaints, even though it worked perfectly with his heel character when he was wrestling less. But I say if it's working with the whatever gimmick they're doing,
she doesn't need to wrestle. And there's nobody she's wrestled this year where the crowd goes, "Oh, they've got a shot." No,
exactly. Same with Roman, huh?
Rodriguez or she wrestled last month. I don't even remember. They had a shot because they know they don't.
And I met up with my school friends. We tried to meet up every Christmas time and play Monopoly in a pub for a whole day. And my friend Jamie, who's well out of wrestling by now, but he said, "Oh, you know, who's this Rhea Ripley?" And I'm like, "Wow!" So that's the one name that the masses are hearing about there, and that's what AEW can't do right now. So unfortunately, Will Ospreay, huge name with the hardcore fans, but Will Ospreay in the Fight Forever would be great for our fans, but it's not going to launch that game. Whereas Rhea Ripley, she's got a name at the moment that the normies are hearing about.
Do you think? I like Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay, though, seems to be and to his credit, he's very real. And I mean that. I don't mean he's offensive.
No, for sure.
He's just very real. And I don't know. It'd be almost like My Fair Lady.
Sure.
Where you have to take young Mr. Ospreay and, you know, polish that diamond.
We're going to make you a gentleman yet, William.
Something. And I'm not saying he's a bad guy.
No, saying, I know what you're getting at.
You know, I don't know that he fits that WWE mold.
Does he have that main event personality? Can he sell a WrestleMania main event on the microphone alone? But few can. In
wrestling, he can. But can you put Will Ospreay on the red carpet and have him, you know, do that?
He'd say the word bruv too many times. No, you wouldn't be able to.
No, I mean, I'm not criticizing him. I'm just saying he would need a little polish.
Media training?
Yeah, before he could be that be up there with Rhea Ripley. In the ring, in a wrestling context, he has been great.
Yeah.
In the WWE show business entertainment realm, he would need some work. But a lot of people need some work.
It's I've said this recently, like if you take a Kenny Omega or an Ospreay but they had the talking ability of let's go with John Cena since we're talking about media training. You know, that wrestler, say Kenny Omega with John Cena's talking ability, they would take over the world, and they bring so many new eyes to wrestling who have no idea what's happening in it these days, and have no idea how. You know, I've had the pleasure since I've been a hardcore wrestling fan of showing certain matches to certain friends, and you know, there's high spots in them, but it's so great seeing a non-wrestling fan pop, you know, and you're right. I think Will Ospreay, maybe one day though, because we all said this about AJ Styles and his talking ability until he went to WWE and then found his voice all of a sudden. It's amazing.
Yeah, AJ has been great. I'm not saying Will Ospreay couldn't do it. I'm just saying it might need a little polish.
For sure.
I'm wondering what, speaking of British, Bea Priestley, his old girlfriend.
Sure.
Blair Davenport.
Yeah, she's still in NXT?
Yeah, she's still in NXT, and hopefully she'll have a breakout year one of these years, maybe next year.
That would be awesome. Yeah, because
Bea's super nice.
Oh yeah, I've not had the pleasure, but
very nice.
I think WWE is the place to be if you're a women wrestler. You know, look at Rhea Ripley and
well, what is today?
13th?
Today's Wednesday. I don't even know what day it is.
Wednesday, sorry. Yeah.
So, Friday, Ring of Honor, as we're speaking, is doing the pay-per-view. And the main event is Athena versus Billy Starks.
Sure, yeah.
Be one of the best storylines that's gone on all year. And who's going to buy it, unfortunately?
It's the old problem of just too much wrestling, because I would love to catch every Ring of Honor show, but there's no way. I can't do it.
I may do that next year. I think I'm going to make some decisions, and I think I'm going to drop New Japan World.
Oh, yeah?
And get something else, maybe All Japan or something.
Do you think Ring of Honor is going to be around in its current form in a year's time?
I don't know. Well, here's the thing. I think Ring of Honor is sort of, it's not exactly like NXT, but it's a place where, AEW contracted talent, Tony Khan contracted talent, can go when there's nothing for them on AEW TV. Or you can go there like Billy Starks. Obviously with Athena, she's getting Billy Starks ready for something.
Oh, yeah.
Whether she wins on Friday, they're still getting her ready. I think the outcome is irrelevant to the future of Billy Starks, as far as someday she'll make the main roster and go on to, bigger things. They're launching Billy Starks in some form.
No, you're completely right. The Ring of Honor is 100% AEW's NXT, isn't it?
It's a version of it.
Yeah.
Ethan Page is down there now. There wasn't much for Ethan Page to do, so he wants to wrestle more. And I think it's options. Who was it? There's so much wrestling.
It's ridiculous.
Kazarian left AEW and is wrestling in TNA.
Yeah.
And he tweeted that he was happy. And if he's happy making whatever money he's making.
Oh, absolutely, more power to him.
With less exposure, which is fine. Life is not, everything's not necessarily about exposure. But he's in the ring, and if that's what he wants, then that's great. So, had maybe Kazarian wanted, maybe if Ring of Honor, he could have gone to Ring of Honor and still stayed.
Yeah.
In the Tony Khan family. So maybe it's also an option to keep talent that you don't want to leave, but necessarily don't have a spot for them right now on AEW.
Yeah. It makes sense.
When he first did that, it didn't make sense to me, but now I think it makes sense.
I imagine, as long as you're doing what you love and you can afford to live, I think you're winning at life, basically. Really.
That's the thing. I think people get too wrapped up on fame, or too wrapped up on exposure, and too wrapped up as far as money. If you have enough money, I think you're fine.
I listened to the Punk Cabana podcast again after he returned to Raw, and in that podcast he's going, money's not everything, everybody. This is going to be a big theme on this podcast. Cut to him. Not here to make friends, I'm here to make money. Brilliant.
Yeah, but I think obviously you need money. You need money to eat,
you do.
To live, to save up, in my case, for medical bills, all those types of things, for retirement, what have you, for your pensioners. You guys have that. We don't. And you guys have this thing. Anyway, we're getting into stuff. I just want basic stuff. It's not even politics. I just want basic things.
Absolutely.
Anyway, but once you have all that, it's like, what's your point? What do you want more? If Tony Khan, I think WrestleNomics, Brandon Thurston put out something where he estimated Tony Khan, was it 23 million, 32 million?
Is that all?
Something like that. What was it? Hang on. It was...
a pittance.
23. He estimates, and he could be wrong, but he estimates that Tony Khan is losing $23 million on AEW.
Yeah.
And maybe he is, maybe he isn't. I don't know.
That's quite a lot of money. I thought you were talking about his net worth, but no, that's quite high. That seems too high. Yeah.
But You know, he estimated that the average salary in AEW was like $430,000, and that seems very high to me. But I could be wrong.
I'd love that.
Right?
Sounds great to me.
That's what I don't understand. Here's a guy who's a billionaire, where every other billionaire is automating things, going to AI, laying people off. Here you have a guy who has hired hundreds of people, given them good paying jobs.
Yeah.
And if he's losing a lot of startups lose money the first few years. I think if he is losing money, I think obviously they're looking to that next TV deal, which every time it's brought up, if you look at Tony, he seems very confident about it. I could be wrong, but he seems confident. Anyway, he's obviously counting on that next deal to put him in the black, so we'll see. But there's a lot of people who are very talented. Again, I'm not ripping on them, but they're making more money with AEW than they probably would somewhere else. And I don't understand what the problem is.
And hearing about how nice he is goes a long way with someone like me, because that's why I'm having a problem with Punk nowadays, because we know a lot about that he's not a nice person some of the time. And all the things you hear about Tony, he just seems really, really lovely.
Tony seems like my interactions with him, he seems like a very nice guy.
Yeah, exactly. Very busy guy, but very nice guy.
Yeah. I don't understand why. I mean, I get wanting to do some things, but wow, he's all the time go.
I don't think the man's had a lie-in in his life.
He's very busy.
Yeah.
Very, very busy, but good for him.
Whatever makes him happy. And speaking of Jim, you've made me incredibly happy by coming on the Shadow Drop podcast today.
Anytime, my pleasure.
Anything else planned while you've still got some free time before Mrs. Valley comes back home?
I need to maybe go do a little bit of shopping.
Nice.
I'll go do that. I need some more Nintendo stuff looking around.
You do, or you don't have quite enough, I would say.
I don't know if there's anything else. No, I guess that's everything. Do you have friends that give you wrestling stuff that aren't wrestling fans?
It's happened once or twice. I remember being handed a Rey Mysterio DVD without ever asking for it one time. But yeah.
How did you miss this?
Oh no, I can't see. Hold on, let me look at the main screen here.
You missed that. I forgot to show you that. How did you miss that?
Oh, the Nintendo World thing.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, it's cut off slightly on the display that we're looking at right now.
I bought this at. I'm probably gonna hold it this way, I guess, for your viewers.
Yes, I appreciate it, Jim. Nice.
There we go. So, it's a sign, and it's just cardboard or just particle board.
Amazing.
They sell this at the theme park, and this is one of the cheaper things you could buy at the theme park.
How much?
$25.
Okay, I thought it was going to be more, to be honest.
Yeah, so I bought that just for
Sure.
fun. Well, I think I'll put it up downstairs in the arcade.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, 100%. That's where it belongs.
Oh, so here's where I was going. A friend of mine gave me this one time, a talking Sting
Nice.
wrestling buddy. It's like,
I am the icon.
I had a John Cena one that's only just stopped talking
oh really?
after about 10 years.
Bring it on.
He probably bought this at like Big Lots or some cheap,
You've got good friends, Jim.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
And all you guys.
Shut up, Willie.
I didn't. By the way, sorry, I didn't reveal. Sting is also on the podcast. Everybody, surprise!
Just took the Sting. There's your screenshot.
That's great stuff. Amazing. Yeah.
Oh my God, he won't shut up. I'm sorry. He won't shut up.
I didn't expect a run-in from Sting today, but it's absolutely another Christmas present.
Is it snowing?
Here.
Yeah, from Sting. Anyway.
Oh right, sorry.
There you go. I just wanted to show you. Thought that was kind of funny. So.
Wonderful stuff, Jim. Absolutely amazing. Go on.
Wait. Sorry. Tokyo, Japan.
Yeah.
We did the Super Potato.
Oh my God, Jim! I love Super Potato so much. I never wanted to leave that store. It's my favorite place in the whole world.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I've been to Japan one time and head straight to Akihabara to go up there, and I just they've got I wish I could have bought more stuff there, but they had the best shirts. They had
bought a shirt.
the Saturn, Radiant Silver Gun on the Saturn that was unfortunately slightly out of my price range, but and the top floor is that arcade with the throne made out of the Famicom cartridges. It's absolutely amazing. They've got a store on eBay of Super Potato, but
Right, but you gotta go.
you have to, you really do. But it's absolutely amazing, Jim. So you proved, if anything, on this podcast there that you have immaculate taste. So thank you very much for sharing everything with us. And Jim, just
very discerning people here.
Of course, the Fox Sounds are a very discerning and the best darn community on the internet. That's right.
Darn it.
But Jim, I'm always very excited when it comes to Saturday for Wrestling Observer Live. So thanks so much for
How'd you like it?
for all that you do and for giving us some of your time here today. I really appreciate it.
Anytime I can do it again.
You're amazing, dude. Thank you so much. And thanks to everyone in the chat. I'm sorry I couldn't focus on the chat as much today, obviously it being a podcast, but I've been checking it out, trying to read all I can while talking to Jim, and thanks you guys for being here and for chilling out on this podcast. There'll be more to come in the new year.
By the way, I love high tea. We went to England a few years ago.
Of course.
Stayed at the Ritz, had high tea. It was lovely.
Staying at the Ritz with your matching Zelda jumper and...
Well, my wife's a baller. That wasn't me. That was her.
Well, they say that the divide between the haves and the have-nots is getting bigger, Jim. So I'll wave to you from where I live to your palatial room at the Ritz Hotel.
Next time we're in town, we'll have to get together.
Absolutely, dude. That would be absolutely amazing. And Jim, have a wonderful Christmas and an amazing New Year.
Merry Christmas.
Good work. Absolutely. That's such a great mug. I need some Nintendo holiday mugs in my life for sure.
Yeah. I don't know if you can get them online or I don't know. They're just at the store. I don't know.
Or maybe Santa Claus is listening and we'll see what happens.
You never know. Or is he Father Christmas there? What is he?
It's pretty much Santa these days. You know how it works. You know.
Everything's homogenized.
Globalization. But yeah. Everyone, thanks so much for being here and
thank you,
for
everybody. Hope you enjoyed it.
Hanging out. Jim, hopefully speak to you sometime soon. It's been an honor.
Do it.
Cheers, everybody. And when it comes to the next podcast, just look for the next shadow drop.